honorable judges, distinguished guests, fellow debater, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yen and I'm representing the people of Takwan Soyam District. Tonight, I am here to speak for the motion on the topic, E-levy is a sure way for a better Ghana. At the moment, electronic payment, especially mobile money, is the most efficient and cost-effective means of transferring money, since it is widely accessible in Ghana. Its wide use is because it's convenient, especially in rural areas. The only alternate is to use banks, which have limited branches. And banks themselves are now digitizing their services to minimize the use of cash. This will help generate more income to the levy and thus to the economy of Ghana. Madam Chairperson, speaking on Cape Coast, Darling FM, the Heman Lower Dentra constituency, the treasurer of the MP, Mr. Francis, says, and I quote, "Unfortunately, we have allowed partisan politics to take a central stage about the E-levy. But in the long term, this is going to affect our collective development as a country." He added that if government goes out the internal community to seek loans, they come with interest that we pay. And this has always made us indebted to the developed world. It is therefore prudent that we try to generate needed funds locally by paying tax to develop our countries. Therefore, it is important to side with me on the E-levy policy. The Minister for Roads has categorically mentioned that when the E-levy comes stream, government will be able to construct more roads, and this is laudable. This will help reduce the rate of accidents in our country. Honorable judges, distinguished guests, Nananom, fellow debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I hope my points are enough to convince that E-levy is a sure way for a better Ghana. Thank you. Take yours.
Respected Chairperson, members of jury, Nananom, invited guests, co-debater, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Pearl, and I strongly speak against the motion, and I quote, "E-levy is a sure way for a better tomorrow." Electronic levy is a tax imposed on electronic transfers at a given time. It charges 1.5% of the amount to be transferred. According to Honorable John Kuma, the Deputy Minister of Finance, he says the amount generated from the levy would be used to pay contractors in the country. The revenue generated from the levy would be used to support entrepreneurship, cyber and digital security, road infrastructures, and provide jobs for about 11 million people in the country. Just imagine that. These points already have funds such as Get Fund, Road Fund, and Task. These funds have been in existence for ages. One should ask, why do we still need additional funds to support such initiatives? Ghanaians are going to bleed excessively due to this law passed about the E-levy. I am surprised my co-debater here has the moral right to walk up to this stage and speak. Is this place a parliament where bills are being passed? Then I guess you should make Mr. Atu your deputy speaker. No need to chill, no need to cry. Listen to facts so that you'll be on track. Madam Chairperson, the electronic levy charges 1.5 of the amount to be transferred. I want to ask my co-debater, what will the government use such additional money for when we already make 18.5% consumable, yet there is no evidence of increase in the standard of living of the citizens? From a reliable source, government workers are paying 25% of income tax out of their monthly salary. Now, adding E-levy, what will be left in their account? Equally nothing. Why should that be so? Why should an individual pay tax on consumable, that is 18.5%, and pay additional 1.5% when he or she transfer money electronically? An individual is expected to pay tax and is accounted for. But here is the case. They pay tax to the government, but they do not do their part and is never accounted for the money they received. Two arguments can be raised here: corruption and mismanagement of funds. Why then should we give such a government more revenue to handle when they cannot do it? Upon all the interventions from the international relations and loans, the country has not moved a step forward just to make the place a better one. But yet still, they are taking the little ones Ghanaians have worked so hard for, just to put us in a repeated cycle. Thank you.
And it's time for debunking.
My opponent said we pay 25% of taxes in our monthly salaries. Then why do the government also go to other countries to go for loans? So going for loans and also adding more interest to the loan, why don't we contribute locally so that we use those interests that we're going to pay to other countries, take them locally through the mobile monies to pay their taxes? Thank you.
Okay, so to your question, you said we already pay money, tax, but we still go to other countries to take money. Have you ever asked yourself, what does the government use the 25% of income tax out of the government worker's salary? What does he use it for? Yes, so he goes out there to take money from the other countries, but then he still misuses it. That is why I said there are two arguments to be raised here: corruption and mismanagement of funds.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You heard Pearl, and you're debating on E-levy. Ato, how did you feel about their debate?
Well, first of all, let me say both of them are looking exquisite tonight, especially Pearl. You know, with those, you know, the symbolism that you are red-eyed, to use Ghanaian English. When you are, you know, aboko jan wonsa wokononye wutir, that is expressive enough. But to be sure, yeah, were you crying at the tail end?
No.
Okay, you were just a little emotional. That Ghana Funtas go to your E-levy. But my problem with you is that while you were doing your presentation, your hands were a little too idle for my liking. I felt they could have added up to Asamana Ericano. But I like the way you went about your thing. Except that during your rebuttals, Pearl made very important points about corruption and mismanagement. I felt that that was an area that you could have rebutted, because per the law, I know there are things in there to ensure that there is some sort of transparency to defeat that particular argument. But it looks like both of you had already prepared notes and nothing was going to get you to change from what you have already written down. But Pearl, you raised a very interesting argument, the strong point about corruption and mismanagement and how differently they're going to do this time about the collection of the E-levy, and the fact that there are already, you know, some funds that we've been paying that, you know, do not really reflect in the things that they are originally intended for. Yes. So I think that I liked what I saw, except that, like Mauto said earlier, none of you has yet been able to break down exactly which areas of the electronic transactions that we indulge in that are going to be taxed. I don't know, you are all assuming that we know, but we don't know. So maybe those of you who are coming after these two, incorporate that in your argument. It would be nice to hear how you understand which transactions exactly are going to be taxed. But all in all, well done.
Thank you.
All in all, well done. Okay, so if you want Pearl to be your next Miss Western 2022,